The person who hit snooze this morning isn't you. It's your weak self. And it's been winning every single day of your life. The samurai discovered something about mornings that neuroscience only confirmed 400 years later. A 90-minute biological window that determines your entire day's willpower. They had 4 rules to capture this window and kill the weak self before it fully woke up. This is how. Have you ever wondered why some mornings you wake up ready to conquer the world and other mornings you can barely drag yourself out of bed? Why some days discipline feels effortless and other days every small decision feels like climbing a mountain? The samurai knew, and what they discovered will change how you see every morning for the rest of your life. They called it the Amaterasu window, named after the sun goddess. The first 90 minutes after you wake, the window where gods walk with mortals, where your brain operates at peak power, where transformation happens or dies. Modern neuroscience has confirmed what the samurai practiced for centuries. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for discipline, willpower, decision-making, peaks in the first 90 minutes after waking. Your cortisol levels spike naturally at dawn. This isn't stress cortisol. This is your biological willpower fuel. Decision fatigue hasn't started yet. Your brain's neuroplasticity, its ability to change and rewire itself, is at its highest point. You have 90 minutes of God-level mental power every single morning. And here's the brutal truth that nobody tells you. Most people waste this window completely. They wake up and immediately check their phone, scroll social media, read emails, watch news, consume other people's problems, other people's agendas, other people's urgencies. By the time they actually start their day, the window is closed. They've spent their peak willpower on notifications and distractions. They've burned their strongest mental fuel on things that don't matter. And then they wonder why the rest of the day feels like pushing a boulder uphill. The samurai understood something profound. Win the first 90 minutes, you win the day. Lose the first 90 minutes, you're fighting a losing battle until sleep. This is why they woke before dawn. Not because they were more disciplined than you, because they understood biology, because they knew that morning isn't just the start of the day. Morning is the foundation that determines everything that follows. The question isn't whether you have willpower. The question is, are you using it when it's strongest, or are you wasting it when you have the most? The framework I'm about to show you, the Henkaku Framework, exists for one purpose: to capture the Amaterasu window, to use your 90 minutes of peak willpower on building yourself instead of giving it away. 4 rules that build on each other. 4 stages that take you from mechanical discipline to natural mastery. From someone who fights with their alarm clock to someone who doesn't even hear it anymore because their body moves before their mind wakes up. This isn't motivation. This is biology weaponized. This is ancient wisdom confirmed by modern science. And once you understand it, you can't unsee it. Rule 1. The 5-second decisive action, Ketsudan. You think laziness is about not wanting to get up. Wrong. Laziness is the gap between the alarm and action. That 5-second negotiation, that internal conversation, that's where you lose. That's where the weak self wins. The samurai called this the conversation with weakness. And they understood something crucial. Every second you lay there negotiating, you're not resting. You're practicing. You're rehearsing. You're training your brain to be someone who doesn't keep promises. Think about it. You set an alarm last night. That was a promise, a commitment. The version of you that set that alarm believed it was important to wake up at that time. But then morning comes. The alarm rings, and immediately a different voice appears. Just 5 more minutes won't hurt. I'll get up after the next alarm. I'm too tired today. I need rest. I'll start tomorrow when I'm more ready. That voice? That's your weak self. And it's been winning every morning of your life. Here's what nobody tells you about that negotiation. Every second you spend in that conversation, you're burning the Amaterasu window. You're wasting your peak willpower on a debate with yourself. You're using your strongest mental fuel to generate excuses. And worse, you're practicing being someone who breaks promises. Because that's what snoozing is. Breaking a promise. The promise you made to yourself the night before. Your brain is plastic. It learns from repetition. And if you practice breaking promises every morning, you're teaching yourself that your word means nothing, not just to others, to yourself. Buddhist monks sit under freezing waterfalls at dawn. The water is so cold it feels like knives on skin. Do they negotiate with the cold? Do they count to 3? Do they tell themselves just one more minute of warmth? No. They just enter. No preparation. No negotiation. No conversation. They understand that delay is death to discipline, that the gap between decision and action is where weakness lives. So here's rule 1. Alarm rings, feet hit floor in 5 seconds, not 10. Know that feeling when you're rushing, half-dressed, can't find your keys, already late. That's not bad luck. That's what chaos looks like when discipline skipped the morning. That's what happens when you waste the Amaterasu window on panic and distraction instead of ritual and precision. Your morning isn't preparation for life. It is life. And the window is open. Use every second. This is Saho, the way of ritual, the practice of small discipline that builds large discipline. 3 actions. Same way, same order, complete attention, every day. Inside the window, while your brain is most changeable. Rule 3. Face the thing you avoid. Taiketsu. Real samurai didn't train in comfortable dojos forever. They sought discomfort on purpose. They walked into mountains alone, faced wild animals, challenged stronger opponents, sat under waterfalls until their bodies screamed. They called it Musha Shuyo, the warrior's pilgrimage. The deliberate choice to face what you fear, what you avoid, what makes you uncomfortable. Not because they were masochists, because they understood that comfort makes you weak and discomfort makes you strong. And your pilgrimage? It starts at dawn. Inside the Amaterasu window, when your willpower is peak. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. The workout you keep skipping isn't about fitness. The cold shower you avoid isn't about temperature. The difficult email you procrastinate isn't about the email. It's about who you are. Are you someone who faces hard things? Or someone who negotiates with themselves until they find an easier path? Every time you avoid discomfort, you're training avoidance. Every time you choose the easy option, you're building neural pathways that say, when things are hard, we quit. When things are uncomfortable, we distract. When things require effort, we find excuses. But here's what the samurai discovered, and what neuroscience confirms. The thing you avoid is easiest in the Amaterasu window. That workout you can't make yourself do at 6 p.m. That cold shower you dread at night. That difficult task you procrastinate all day. In the first 90 minutes after waking, while your willpower is peak, your resistance is 60% lower. The voice that generates excuses is quieter. The feeling of I don't want to is weaker. Your peak willpower makes hard things feel possible, makes discomfort feel manageable, makes what seems impossible at night feel inevitable at dawn. So here's rule 3. Every morning, one thing you resist, one thing that makes you uncomfortable, one thing you've been avoiding. Cold shower, workout, difficult email, 20 minutes of silence. Doesn't matter what it is. Do it first. Do it inside the window. Before your weak self wakes up fully. Before your brain has time to generate reasons why not. Before the voice starts listing all the justifications for waiting until later. You've been saying you'll start working out for months, maybe years. Know why you haven't? Because you're waiting for a good time. A day when you're more motivated. A moment when it feels right. There is no good time. There is no perfect moment. There's only 6 a.m. before you remember all your excuses. There's only the Amaterasu window before decision fatigue sets in. There's only now, with peak willpower, before the day drains it away on 1,000 small decisions. Right now, you're thinking, I'll do this tomorrow when I'm more prepared. That's the trap. That's the conversation your weak self has been winning for months. The pilgrimage doesn't begin when you're ready. It begins when you leave. The window doesn't wait for preparation. It opens at dawn and closes 90 minutes later, whether you use it or not. What does this train? 3 things. First, tolerance for discomfort. The more you face what you avoid, the less power it has. The cold shower stops feeling cold after 30 days. Not because the water changed, because you changed. Second, proof that you can do hard things. Every time you face discomfort, you're building evidence. Evidence that becomes belief. Belief that becomes identity. Third, neural pathway strengthening. Your brain is most plastic in the window. Facing discomfort while your brain is changeable literally rewires your response to difficulty. You're not just doing hard things. You're becoming someone for whom hard things are normal. Choose your hard thing tonight, before you sleep. Decide what you'll face tomorrow. Put it first in the sequence. Alarm rings. Feet hit floor. Ritual complete. Then immediately, the thing you resist. No gap. No time for negotiation. No opportunity for your weak self to start talking. And here's what happens after 30 days. The thing you resisted? It becomes automatic. The discomfort you avoided. It becomes familiar. The hard thing? It becomes your normal. Not because it got easier, because you got stronger. And you got stronger by training when your brain was most receptive, by using the window while it was open. This is taiketsu. Confrontation with self. The practice of facing what you avoid while your willpower is peak. Rule 4. Become the rule. Henkaku. These first 3 rules, they're shu. You're copying, following, obeying. Alarm rings. Not 30. 5. No thinking, no negotiating, no bargaining. Kill the conversation before it starts. This isn't about motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. This is about removing the choice. This is about making the action so fast that your weak self doesn't have time to wake up and start talking. Because here's the truth. Your weak self needs time. It needs that gap between alarm and action to generate justifications, to build arguments, to create the story of why today is different, why today you deserve rest, why today the rules don't apply. Cut that gap to 5 seconds, and your weak self has nothing. No time to negotiate, no time to rationalize, just movement. Tomorrow morning, your alarm will ring. And in that moment, you have a choice. Not about whether to get up, about who you are. Are you someone who keeps promises? Or someone who negotiates with themselves until they find an easier path? The Amaterasu window opens at dawn. For 90 minutes, you have peak willpower, peak discipline, peak power to change, but only if you capture it, only if you move. This is Ketsudan, the decisive cut, the action so fast it cuts through all negotiation. 5 seconds. Feet hit floor. The window opens. Capture it. Rule 2. The ritual of small discipline. Saho. You're not getting ready for the day. You're already in the day. This is the day. Right now, in these first 90 minutes, while the Amaterasu window is open, you're not preparing for discipline. You're practicing discipline. And what you practice now will determine how you operate for the next 23 hours. The samurai understood something profound. How you do anything is how you do everything. They called this Budo, turning your entire life into a dojo, making every action practice, every moment training. Think about your typical morning. Rushing, half awake, stumbling through actions on autopilot, brushing teeth while thinking about emails, making coffee while scrolling phone, getting dressed while watching news. You're doing multiple things simultaneously, and none of them with attention, none of them with presence, none of them with discipline. You think you're being efficient, you're actually being chaotic. And that chaos bleeds into everything else. That's why by 10 a.m. you feel scattered. By noon you feel overwhelmed. By 3 p.m. you can't focus on anything. Because you started the day in chaos. You trained chaos while your brain was most plastic. But there's another way. The way the samurai practiced, complete attention on small actions, not because the actions matter, because attention matters, because discipline is a muscle and muscles need training. Making your bed isn't about having a neat room. It's about doing one thing completely, with full attention, first thing in the morning while the Amaterasu window is open. Brushing your teeth isn't about dental hygiene. It's about precision, about doing a simple task the same way every day with complete presence. Preparing your coffee isn't about caffeine. It's about ritual, about treating something small as if it's sacred. Here's rule 2. Pick 3 morning actions, small things, simple things. Make bed, prepare coffee, cold water face rinse. Same 3 actions, same sequence, same way, every single day. 0 exceptions, 0 negotiations. Complete attention on each one. And here's the secret that makes this powerful. You do all 3 inside the Amaterasu window, while your brain is most plastic, while your willpower is peak. Each disciplined action in this window rewires your brain's discipline circuits. This isn't theory. This is neuroscience. Your brain learns strongest in the first 90 minutes after waking. Disciplined actions in the window create disciplined neural pathways that last all day. The samurai had a saying, matters of small concern should be treated seriously. Matters of great concern should be treated lightly. Sounds backwards. It's not. When you treat your morning coffee like a sacred ritual, when you make your bed with the same attention a craftsman gives to his masterpiece, something shifts. The 3 p.m. crisis becomes just another moment. The difficult conversation becomes easy. The overwhelming project becomes manageable. Because you've already practiced discipline 10 times before most people have practiced it once. You've already proven to yourself that you're someone who does things with attention, with precision, with care. If you can't make your bed with discipline, what makes you think you'll handle the crisis with discipline? If you rush through brushing your teeth, you'll rush through the important email. If you scroll your phone while making coffee, you'll scroll during the meeting. Everything is practice. Everything is training. The question is, what are you training? Chaos or discipline? Distraction or focus? The samurai trained discipline in 10,000 tiny moments so that when death appeared in front of them, their hand moved without thought. Their mind remained unmoved. Their discipline was nature, not effort. Because they'd practiced it when it mattered least, it was automatic when it mattered most. You emails, consume news, other people's problems, other people's agendas. By the time you actually start your day, your willpower is depleted, the window is closed, and you spend the rest of the day fighting uphill, resisting temptation, forcing focus, using whatever willpower you have left on things that would have been easy if you'd captured the window. Most people take this path, not once, every day, for their entire lives. They die never knowing that every morning they had 90 minutes of God-level willpower and they spent it on snoozing and scrolling. Path 2. You remember this moment. You remember the Amaterasu window. You remember that you have 90 minutes of peak power, and you decide, not tomorrow, today. The alarm rings. Feet hit floor in 5 seconds. No negotiation. Ketsudan. The decisive cut. You do the ritual. 3 actions. Same way. Complete attention. Saho. The way of discipline. You face the hard thing. The cold shower. The workout. The thing you resist. You do it first. Inside the window. While your willpower is peak. Taiketsu. Confrontation with self. And you do this tomorrow. And the next day. And the day after that. For 100 days. 100 windows captured. 100 chances to build instead of waste. And 100 days from now, you won't recognize yourself. Not because you'll look different. Because your brain will be different. Your identity will be different. You will be different. The samurai had a saying, tomorrow's battle is won during today's practice. Your tomorrow is being decided right now, not by your circumstances, not by your genetics, not by your past, by what you choose to do when that alarm rings, by whether you waste the window or capture it. by whether you let your weak self win or you kill it before it wakes up. You don't need motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings fade. You need to begin, to move, to capture the first window, and then the second, and then the third. The path will teach you everything else. Your discipline will build as you practice. Your identity will shift as your brain rewires. Your transformation will happen automatically if you just capture the window every day for 100 days. Every single morning, you wake up with 90 minutes. 90 minutes where your willpower is peak. Your discipline is strongest. Your brain is most changeable. The samurai knew this 400 years ago. They called it the Amaterasu window, the time when gods walk with mortals. Modern neuroscience confirmed it. Your prefrontal cortex peaks in the first 90 minutes after waking. Your neuroplasticity is highest. Your ability to change is greatest. This isn't mysticism. This isn't motivation. This is biology, and you can use it or waste it. The window opens at dawn, whether you use it or not, whether you capture it or let it close unused. The question that determines your life is simple. What will you do with it? You've been given 90 minutes of peak willpower every morning for your entire life. Most people die never knowing it existed, never knowing that their morning struggle, their daily discipline battle, their constant fight with themselves could have been won in the first 90 minutes. If they'd just captured the window, if they just used their peak power when they had it, instead of wasting it on negotiation and distraction. Now you know. The only question left is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you read this, nod your head, think that's interesting, and then do nothing? Or will you set your alarm right now? Will you choose your 3 ritual actions right now? Will you decide what hard thing you'll face right now? Will you commit to 100 days right now? The weak self is reading this and already planning to forget. Already thinking, I'll start Monday. I'll begin next month. I'll do this when I'm more ready. That voice, that's the voice that's been winning your whole life. The warrior self is different. The warrior self doesn't wait, doesn't negotiate, doesn't prepare. The warrior self sets the alarm right now, decides the ritual right now, chooses the hard thing right now. And tomorrow at dawn, when the alarm rings, the warrior self doesn't think, doesn't debate, just moves. Feet hit floor in 5 seconds. The window opens, and the warrior captures it. Which one are you? The answer will be clear tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, and you either move or negotiate. Either capture the window or waste it. Either become disciplined or remain someone who talks about discipline. Your evolution starts tomorrow at dawn. The Amaterasu window opens. For 90 minutes you have power most people never access. Power to change. Feet hit floor. That's shoe. 3 ritual actions. Same way every day. That's shoe. 1 hard thing first. That's shoe. It feels mechanical. Supposed to. You're training your body before your mind understands. You're building patterns before belief catches up. You're practicing actions before identity shifts. And for the first 30 days, maybe 40, this will feel like effort, like discipline, like force. You'll wake up and your body will want to stay in bed. You'll face the cold shower and your mind will generate reasons to skip it. You'll do the ritual and it will feel like just going through motions. But then something happens. Around day 30 to 40, a shift occurs. Subtle at first. You'll notice your feet hitting the floor before you think about it. You'll notice your hands making the bed without deciding to. You'll notice yourself walking toward the cold shower before your mind registers what's happening. You stop doing your morning. You become your morning. The alarm rings and your body moves. Not because you choose to, because that's what your body does now. The ritual happens through you, not by you. Not because you're disciplined, because discipline has become your nature. The Japanese call this rai, transcendence. The stage where you don't choose discipline anymore. You are discipline. Here's what's happening in your brain. After 30 to 40 days of using your peak willpower window correctly, of capturing the Amaterasu window with deliberate disciplined action, your brain has been physically rewired. The neural pathways for discipline have strengthened. The pathways for negotiation have weakened. What used to require peak state willpower now happens automatically. What used to need the window now operates naturally throughout the day. You've literally changed your brain structure. The samurai called it becoming the sword. Modern neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. Same thing. Your identity has shifted at a biological level, so here's rule 4. Trust the process for 100 days minimum. Not 30, not 60, 100. Why? Because the first 30 days build the habit. The next 30 days strengthen it. The final 40 days transform it into nature. The goal isn't perfection. Missing one day won't destroy you. The goal is transformation. Becoming someone different, not someone who has discipline. Someone who is discipline. You're not building a routine. Routines can be broken. You're building a new identity. An identity doesn't break. It just is. Miyamoto Musashi went 60 duels undefeated. 60 fights where one mistake meant death. How? Not because he practiced sword techniques more than others, because he became the sword. His hand and blade were one thing. When he moved, he didn't think strike here, block there, counter this way. His body responded before thought. Because he'd trained every morning for 40 years. Every dawn he captured the window, used his peak willpower on practice, built neural pathways so strong that discipline became automatic. Technique became nature. And when death stood in front of him, his hand moved without thought, because it had moved the same way 10,000 times before, when it mattered least. You're not trying to build discipline. You're becoming someone for whom discipline is as natural as breathing. And here's what happens when you reach that point. When 100 days have passed. When you've captured 100 Amaterasu windows. Used 190-minute peak state periods correctly. You won't remember the person who negotiated with alarm clocks. That person will feel like a stranger, a version of you that existed in another life. Because your brain will be different. Your neural pathways will be different. Your identity will be different. What used to require effort will be automatic. What used to need willpower will be nature. What used to feel impossible will be inevitable. And that's not motivation speaking. That's neuroscience. Your brain changes based on what you practice during peak plasticity windows. Practice chaos in the morning, you get chaos all day. Practice discipline in the morning, you get discipline all day. Do it for 100 days, you don't just get discipline, you become discipline. This is Henkaku, revolution of self, not improvement, not optimization, complete transformation. 100 days, 100 windows, 100 chances to capture your peak willpower and use it on building instead of wasting. 0 exceptions, total transformation, a new brain, a new identity, a new you. So here's your choice. Right now, this second. Tomorrow morning, your alarm will ring. And when it does, the Amaterasu window opens. 90 minutes of peak willpower, peak discipline, peak brain plasticity. The question isn't whether the window opens. It opens every morning, whether you use it or not. The question is, what happens when it opens? You have 2 paths in front of you. Only 2. And the path you choose tomorrow determines who you become. Path 1. You hit snooze. You negotiate. Just 5 more minutes. I'm too tired. I'll start Monday. I'll do it tomorrow. That voice. That's your weak self. And if you listen to it, if you choose that path, here's what happens. You waste the window. Your peak willpower burns on negotiation instead of action. You check your phone, scroll social media, read